There are two forms of criticism. One is a criticism that is healthy, that would come from a true friend, where the friend wants to speak to you in a kind manner, to treat you as a human being with the dignity that you deserve, and, like I said, speak to you kindly concerning something that would be good for you to change in your life. The second form of criticism is a kind of sarcastic, angry, prideful criticism that comes often in the form of venting. One of the things that I say is basically what we learn from venting is to go to venting to be the solution. In other words, go to venting to learn to trust in the act of angry venting. That's just about where that gets us. Now back to negative criticism. Negative criticism. Do you know that when someone speaks to you with a mixture of anger or pride, that which they criticize you is actually where your greatest strength is, where your greatest gift. And it is always true. There are times when I am working with couples, married couples, I would notice how they argue with each other. Literally. When a couple is in an argument, whatever each says about the other while in a state of angry judgment, I always know that the opposite of that judgment, the opposite of that criticism, is actually what's true. And I always find it to be the case. This is also true in your relationship with your son or daughter. Let's say when your child actually lives in a manner that there is no entity on the planet greater than their reasoning. And certainly the child acts in angry judgment in a way that their reasoning, your son or daughter's reasoning, is considered greater than what experience you have in life, knowledge and experience. So when your child attacks you verbally, criticizes you, gets others to take their side against you, whatever the attack is, know this, that the opposite is what's true. The concept of the divining rod, the concept, I actually don't know if it works or not, but taking a limb and searching for water, and how the divining rod is supposed to be drawn to the presence and location of water. It is always true that when someone vents at you in an angry manner, they actually attack your greatest strength or gift. And here I am saying it again. They attack your greatest strength and gift, calling it your greatest failing. They do that, knowing it or not knowing it, to cover up that very failing in themselves. You could be one of 10 people in a room who is the most sensitive and caring. And that person who, because of anger, pride, personality, is less sensitive, he or she enters the room, eventually they're going to gravitate to you out of the 10 and will at some point criticize you for not being caring and being sensitive, because you will be the one of the 10 that will serve them the most to outshout their own conscience, to actually be easy to criticize for your gift and strength, to cover up that very failing in themselves. It is always true. You have felt it maybe even all of your life. It is as if Everyone in the world is conspiring. When I was young, I always wondered why I was the one criticized for one particular characteristic. And it surprised me. Why is it out of all the classroom and the many schools that I went throughout my life, when I was a little child, I even wondered, did everyone get together and choose to criticize me in that precise way? More than half of my life, I stuttered tremendously. Even the fact that I could sit here and talk to you on a video is quite a miracle. I was already working towards my master's degree in psychology and could hardly finish a sentence. I always struggled over that whatever came out of my mouth was never good enough. And finally it was someone that helped me kindly to come to realize that what is my greatest gift or strength is what comes out of my mouth. I am a very good singer. That's something I was able to do even while I stuttered so much, but I was able to sing very well. Then I also came to realize that my ability to teach some of the most important things about life is also a gift, and is something that comes out of my mouth. So this hit home with me in a very deep manner, that I came to learn that that which is a person's greatest gift will first appear as one's greatest failing. This has much to say about your son or daughter. Your son or daughter may have the gift of being sensitive, but anger and pride has contaminated that child's personality. And if that child's greatest gift was sensitivity at a point in the past, he or she still has that gift. It's only been contaminated with anger and pride and a sense of entitlement. Once that's removed, you will have your son or daughter back, and she will not only be sensitive like before, but even to a greater degree. So let us know this like you. When your kid in angry defiance criticizes you and says humiliating things and tells others, know this fact because it holds up with life. The opposite of what they're saying is easily the case about you. You see, people do not criticize in anger, venting that which is not true about you. I have said for years that if someone criticized me for not being able to sew a dress, sew clothing, that wouldn't bother me because actually I am not good at sewing. But if someone criticized me and said that I don't love my children and that I'm not a good father, that would hurt me deeply. The reason it would hurt is because it is one of my greatest gifts and strengths. That's as easy for me as breathing. Brings up another principle. That which is your greatest gift and strength. Not only do people that are angry criticize you, calling your greatest strength or gift your greatest failing, but they target it because it's your greatest strength. It is like a ship that has been built. A wooden ship has been built, placed on the water, and then it goes out across the water. The waves hit it, and as the ship moves back and forth, all of the tension throughout the ship goes through the small boards to the beam that's at the base of the ship. And that's how a ship is built, that all of the tension, all of the stress would go to the beam that holds everything together in all of your life, and certainly now with your relationship with your acting out child. all of the stress and tension goes precisely towards your greatest gift, which is God-given. It is at your base. It's as easy as breathing for you, maybe to be sensitive, or to have other forms of character, what we call personality traits. But when attacked, you'll have a tendency to rise up to defend your sensitivity, defend your gift, your strength. But here's the thing. When you rise up to defend your gift or strength, then you look like the very thing you're being criticized. Then you will be more angry, frustrated, and weakened for seeing that by defending, you're looking like the very thing you're being criticized. And then you'll tend to rise up and defend angrily, maybe even pridefully, to defend that which is your greatest strength and say, that's not so. I am sensitive. I do love my son or daughter. And thus you are weakened. Please know this. I say it's a scriptural fact based on Matthew chapter 7, the first 4 verses in the center of the Sermon on the Mount. But that which you're being criticized, do not rise up to defend it. It will weaken you. The very sarcasm and angry venting that's being done at you, the opposite is true. And it is an attack at that which is your greatest strength. Because people that use that is what we call a defense mechanism. They do not criticize you, such as me, for not sowing, because that would be blown away. But if you're being criticized at your greatest strength, then it's there each and every day to be criticized again and to be used as a defense mechanism to cover up what is in fact faulty in themselves. Do you see what I mean? Let's keep watching these videos and build one premise upon the other. Please enjoy the music and see you in the next video.
Bindi Owen inherited her father Steve's vivacious love of life, but she's 14 now, so surely teenage rebellion isn't far off. I spoke with Bindi and her mum Terry today. You have grown up, Bindi Sue Owen. You are, nearly 15 now?
Yeah.
I can hardly believe the change in you.
Oh, thank you. It's been an amazing journey. I mean, I go through life and it's so much fun. I mean, it's a whirlwind of excitement. and I have the most unique and special life that it's always changing.
Your character in Nim's Island 2 seems very like you. She's a conservationist, she's animal mad. I mean, it's almost been written for you, hasn't it?
It has been, actually.
She is also discovering boys.
Yes!
And I'm wondering if you had to draw on any of your own experiences to play those scenes.
For me, at the moment, I've got friends that are girls and friends that are boys, so why make things complicated? You look around and you go, well, he's my best mate and he's my best mate. Don't really want to complicate things. I'm pretty
It'll
happy.
happen.
No. I'm happy smooching on rhinos.
Do you know, in lots of ways, I think rhinos are safer.
Yeah.
You know, seriously.
No feelings get hurt. It's perfect.
I'm like, Dad, you're already great. You can't be better. And he's like,
The last time I spoke with you, with both of you actually, was in this room, and it was 6 years ago, and it was 3 months after you lost your dad. And one of the things you said at that age, when you were 8, was that you wanted to be just like him. Mm-hmm. At the age of 14, most kids are trying to distance themselves a little bit from their parents. Do you still want to be just like him, or do you want to be like you?
I am still me, and I have my passions. I mean, I love to sing and dance. Let me tell you, Dad was not a singer or a dancer. But I do want to make sure that his legacy continues. And with everything that I do, he'll always live with me in my heart.
I think that's totally understandable. I guess I'm wondering whether there's a little bit of you that's ready to break out and be seen in your own right, rather than always being seen as Steve's daughter.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love Dad. He's a part of us, I think. And I mean, you know, we're wildlife warriors.
14 or 15 can be a challenging age with kids. They can be quite, you know, they're pushing to be their own people, and sometimes they'll buck the system and sometimes they won't do as they're told. Have you had any issues like that with Bindi?
Bindi has been amazing. When she turned 13, I snuck in her room to see if there were any horns protruding. And there weren't. Everyone warned me when she turns 13 it was going to get ugly. Bindi's just gotten better.
Are there any little buds of horns that show through some days now?
You know, not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Robert does call me a rebellious teenager, though, when I forget to unload the dishwasher or I don't brush my teeth on time. But, you know, I think that's all part of it.
That sounds pretty rebellious to me.
He does. He goes, Bindi, you're turning into such a rebellious teenager. Like, well, yeah, okay. It's only 5 minutes past my bedtime, but alrighty.
Spoken like an 8-year-old.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I have a feeling there's something coming.
It's been my whole life. My whole life people have said to Mum, wait until she turns 10. And then it's been wait until she's 13. And now people say, give it a couple years. She's gonna get terrible. I'm like, I'm right here. Hi.
I'm in the room.
I'm in the room. I don't think I'm that bad.